Yeah. Let's go. You just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah. I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard.
That's right, folks. And you know what? I didn't even notice that before, but you hear the sound of actually like crickets and everything and whatnot, like right there at the end. And at the end of the music, I never noticed that before. You actually hear like wilderness for like a brief second. You can actually hear like the outside. That's really cool. And no, I decided to not play any stupid what the fuck videos or anything and whatnot after any of that. And yes, YouTube probably will make me take down that intro. Anybody who's watching this right now, I'll have to probably remove that. But that's okay. I like it. Like I was saying in the private chat, it gets me fucking pumped. I think it's a good intro. And that's how I'll start the show. What Jesse Sarcher from W2M Network, W2M Net, Religion Broadcasting Network. Jesse, good friend, what do you think of that intro?
Wow, it's pretty powerful. I remember when I first started watching the series, and the intro is always something that you want to see catch your eye. That one does it for me. I really do enjoy watching it, although you might be able to make a case that it could be a little too long. You really want to get into the episode. I don't know, but I like it. I think it's pretty nice.
Kendra.
Yes.
The intro, my dear. What do you think of the intro?
I mean, I agree with Jesse. It's definitely powerful. It sets you up not only with the music, but with the imagery that you're seeing for what you're going to get and what you can expect in the show. So I think it does the job.
Okay. Rico, is it too long?
No, I don't think it's too long. It's like everybody else is saying, like the music, the vibe, the imagery, it sets you in. It reminds me of a good opening to a sci-fi comic or a sci-fi show. So I believe it hits the mark, and the theme, it meets the theme.
Okay, Cyber.
I honestly don't like the intro. I think it's slow. I think it's repetitive, and I just don't care for it. I just don't think it does much for me personally. Anyways, I just think it was basic, and I don't care too much for the imagery. I don't like the artwork. I don't think it looks good. I just think it's a pretty basic, plain intro.
Me too.
I've seen better.
I agree with you 100%. I think you're pretty much accurate. That's exactly what I would have said. I like it a little bit more than you do, but like still the art, the imagery, the artist, the art value of it, whatnot, doesn't really do anything for me. Andres, you have any thoughts on that intro?
No, I'm with Cyber. I mean, I think the imagery is good, but I think they couldn't got a big company that could make those titles a little more poppy, a little more better than what we got. So that's it.
Look at Kendra immediately connecting to Kelly in the comment section. Woman to woman, baby. You gotta love it.
I'm a multitasker. What can I say?
There you go. That's that human connection right there, Kelly. You feel me? And thank you for joining us, Kelly. I'm glad that you decided to pop on. It'll be good to have you on the panel here soon. Kelly is from Kelly's Reactions on YouTube, and I enjoy her Bandmade and J-Rock and J-Mellow reactions, and hopefully she's going to be popping on here for a show with me and Cyber and Andres, and maybe she'll get to meet out the whole team here, Kendra and Jesse and Rico at some point soon. Love to see. Either way, now, Secret Invasion Episode 5 is titled The Harvest. I actually, to tell you the truth, I think it's interesting that the title is The Harvest, and the premise of The Harvest, of course, this idea that essentially Fury used his Skrull unit to go to the battle at the end of Endgame, right? With Thanos, with the full Avenger squad, that epic fucking battle, man. The one that fucking about destroyed me in the theater every single time I saw it. Like they got DNA, supposedly got DNA from everybody there. Every Avenger bled, even Captain Marvel, right? Now, whether I don't know that I even believe any of that, to tell you the truth, but whatever. This supposedly is there. Taking into consideration, Fury is a spy, right? Like, he lies for a living. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's part of his deal. So, like, you know what I'm saying? His whole shit is mystique. And, he's an espionage guy. So you can't always just, just because Fury says something doesn't mean it's legit. Or that his wife says that, or that it's legit. If you haven't noticed yet, there's a reason why Fury likes her so much. And we'll talk about that later on throughout the show. So she was probably the Monica Rambeau Award recipient of the episode, without question. Maybe the series, probably. That actress has been killing it. But the whole premise essentially is that, the Fury got this, he has his DNA of all the Avengers, right? And that is what Gravik wants. He wants that fucking DNA because he wants to be able to perfect the Super Skrull process, not go with the half-assed, version he's got right now, which is still pretty dope. Don't get me wrong. But my point was simply that, and I'll go around the panel and ask, I felt like that was a weak title for probably the weakest episode of the series. So what a surprise that, Kendra, we've talked about how connected the titles have been at times with the episodes. And I felt like that was a strong point for me in personal conversations. We discussed that. What do you think, Kendra? Do you feel like the Harvest being the title, it was almost like sort of a, looking backwards, almost sort of a signal right there from jump, like, hey, this premise is weak. This is probably going to be a weak episode.
I don't know if I immediately jumped on the fact that the premise could be weak, because like you said, most of the time the titles have actually correlated with something within the episode that is actually quite important. And that isn't to say that the Harvest isn't important. I mean, it is. It's vitally important, especially to Gravik and what his plans are with the future of the Skrull. But that being said, I think that this one, while yes, it is featured in the episode, it is not the whole of the episode. Like, there is no like key vital point, or it's not made to feel as important as it should be. It feels more of a castaway for me. I mean, and you guys had said it before we came actually on, but this is the first time where an episode has actually felt like fluff, where it feels like filler. And
agreed.
I don't know.
Agreed. In fact, that's actually what I was going to say to you right before. I almost added, do you think this is actually our real first filler episode here, this episode? And I'll ask everybody that basically, but no, but don't get me wrong too. Sonya killed it too in this episode. I don't want to leave that out. I just want to put that out there. She was fucking awesome. Her whole like shtick with her fucking wit and like poppy sort of British fucking charm, right? At the same time, her like fucking pure like evil, like not evil, but like fucking like lunatic, like butcher kind of nature to her about how she does
she's
shit.
Just very matter of fact.
yes, and she's really really fun. She's great. Having her, and then having Julie Louis-Dreyfus in the MCU, man. Talk about fucking two powerhouse actresses, right? Playing some dope ass characters. Hopefully they'll find a good spot for her continuing from the series in the MCU. I hope. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to. But Cyber, my friend. Now, the Kendra kind of finalized my question or made it more rounded out towards it's better. She made it better. I guess what I'm really asking is, the Harvest felt like a deflection almost. Like if that's an ultimate kind of premise for Gravik, whatever, whatnot, that's weak, man. Like, I expected something better from this series. I really did. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. And that's why I harpy the episode title being The Harvest, because these titles have been so connected, like starkly connected throughout the episodes. And I felt like that's a really cool. I really enjoyed that in any series. I do. When they're able to pull that off that well. So the fact that The Harvest just felt like a sideshow kind of deal. Like, at that point, I that's why I have a hard time taking it seriously. You get where I'm going with that?
So essentially, regarding the title of the episode, to me, I get the title of the episode because they talk about the Harvest in the episode. So I get that subject. Where you're coming from, where you're putting a little more info into it, a little bit more in-depth look at it, I can see where you're coming from, where it didn't really, it was very brief what the Harvest was, very brief about what it had to do with the whole concept of the whole series. It was very to the point. So it they didn't really put a lot of effort into it, and I get what you're talking about. But overall, I think that the name of the episode itself, I feel it's justified.
And I get where you're coming from with that, Rico.
Yeah, the title of the episode, The Harvest, or no, I'm sorry, just Harvest. Out of what, 48 minutes, the title only reflected from one scene, which was a car ride between Nick Fury talking about, him, Gravik harvesting everything to make a super scroll. But I don't feel like the title of this episode had a lot, or not, like I said, much to do with the continuity of this particular episode. I think it was it was either poor title, or they didn't focus on what the concept of that title meant for the episode. I believe this episode had more to do with how the scrolls were kind of. Well, no, we'll get to that. But once again, I think the title of the Harvest, it was poor judgment on the title of this particular episode.
Okay, and I like that. That's good contrast. I appreciate that. Andres, the pop culture guy, my friend. Now you tell me, what do you think about the title and again? Cyber did a great job. I'm loving what you guys are having to say and everything and whatnot. I guess pretty much what I would say is that for me, I feel like this episode I wouldn't say it wasn't discombobulated, but it just fell off a little bit in terms of the structuring of the episode, right? Scene to scene, you know what I'm saying? The flow of it, right? How it was executed. In its place as a piece of the 6-piece puzzle, right? It's, series, right? That's a final thing. There's no second season. All right. Each episode's crucial in a way, right? They've been killing it, giving us seriously entertaining shit here. Episodes 1 through 4. At least we've all been pretty much in agreement on that, I believe, right? Regardless of maybe, other people out there having other opinions, which I respect, right? And of course, as I've told Rico and I kindred other people, when we're done with the series, we'll get together. We'll flush out some of the comic book inaccuracies and whatnot, and the framing of the series itself, the premise of it, and the conflict in the fandom with that premise itself, right? It just hasn't come up really when we've done any of the episode reviews because we've been enjoying them. Andres, I still enjoyed episode 5, but again, I felt like throwing that premise of Gravik's ultimate weapon being this harvest deal, right? It just seemed like a fucking toss away almost, and that really surprised me from a series that's been really on point and really accurate and deliberate with everything.
Yeah, I mean, think about the last 2 episodes. The titles came back very importantly. Like, was it last week? It was Betrayal, right? Oh, not like episode 3 was Betrayal, and then last week was Beloved. So like everything went really deep into the titles. This one was just so. It's like, okay, here we go. Here's the MacGuffin, the villain thing that we're gonna get into the finale, which I was shocked. You think you built that from episode 1 to now, and I'm just shocked that this show literally did that. And so again, I'm sorry for my inappropriate language. Fuck you, Secret Invasion again. Why did you did that? I'm sorry. I still frustrated with this show.
Rico, why? Andres, why are you using the F word on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast? Don't you know that we're PG-13 kid friendly show?
It's funny you say
show.
that.
Oh
It's
my
funny
God.
you say that because you've been displaying a lot of sexual imagery on videos
No. Me?
things from Dave Chappelle.
What?
So
I'm celibate.
See?
I'm celibate. I'm the organizer of the celibate and proud meetup group. Just to be clear.
sure thing, buddy. That monologue, man. You're way off the track there. Anyway, but no. I think I agree with Cyber. It's like everyone here. It's like I think I get what they're trying to do from the previous films, but this just did not work, and it's just I don't know. It was again frustration. It's just frustration. It's just very annoying. But
you know what? Listen, 17-minute fucking contributions to the panel sometimes from certain people can be frustrating too. You know, so. But anyways, just kidding. Jesse Starcher, my friend. You kind of get. I mean, now that you've heard everybody talk here on the panel, I think you understand kind of the premise of my question and whatnot. Really, what I'm trying to get to is the fact that I'm not happy really overall with episode 5. It could have been better, I think. Right? What's to say? And so at that point, I feel like the title itself, the first title of the first episode was Resurrection. Right? Solid title. Right? And second one was Promises, right? The third one was Betrayed. All right. And and then we had Beloved, right? Now, I guess the other part of it for me with the titles that's really been connected for me has been that they've been one-word titles, right? That I mean, and they really delivered on connecting them well. Harvest didn't do it for me. Does that make sense? And I feel like it reflects on how the episode was in general overall, like almost the quality of it.
I hear what you're saying. This is pretty simple, folks. Harvest. What's the harvest? Oh, we'll get the answer to that in this episode. And that's really all it is. We're not making any deep, we're not diving into the psyche of Nick Fury here. It's not what's happening. It's
real. Are the skrulls gonna be fucking farming this episode? Like, I mean, what's the deal?
Right. Yeah, it was pretty simple for me. I wasn't trying to connect any dots. I was like, okay, what is this harvest thing? Okay, we're going to get our answer. And yeah, I mean, I understand you guys feeling that this is a filler episode a little bit. And it's definitely like the least anticlimactic, like, gear up for this finale that's going to happen. Because get ready. It's like, no, it didn't hit that for me, but there's my answer.
Well, hey, I guess it'll be interesting to see what we end up with ratings at the end of this, which is why I started off with this question. To be honest with you, I wanted to kind of just flush it out now and get a sense of like where everybody was at, right? Kind of in an espionage Nick Fury kind of fucking way. Flush out kind of everybody's kind of vibe towards the episode. And, I can tell Cyber didn't like it already. I can tell just because of our mutant S gene vibe, connection we have. Right. That, you can only experience, when you go to the massage parlor together.
Wow.
There you go. Andres, you like that motherfucker? Anyways,
no, not again.
Whatever. Anyway,
share the same masseuse.
I sent Andres pictures of the bed at the massage parlor when I went to the massage parlor. Right, Andres? Just so I can help him. I wanted him to connect with me and share the moment.
I plead the fifth. I don't need to answer anything.
I like to fuck. That's how I do it, baby. I fuck with them on the show and then I fuck with them off the show. You feel me? The bust into the balls, it never stops. It only grows. No, we love everybody here at the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, right? Except for fucking what's his name? The second in command of the whole Gravik's whole unit and shit and whatnot. They got fucking iced from Jump Street of the episode and whatnot and everything. I forgot his name, I apologize. That was Pagan, right?
Yeah.
Now, I did find it interesting. And not necessarily surprising, but somewhat surprising, I guess, a little bit, that his people, his soldiers, would that quickly start questioning him like that, and whatnot, and everything, right from jump of the episode. They went right to that, right? Right off the bat, we get, essentially Pagan questioning him, why didn't you kill Fury? Right? You've had multiple opportunities now to kill Fury. You have not killed Fury. Like, what I'm saying? And I in a way, I believe that Pagan, if he'd given a chance to talk more, I think that in his mind, he was seeing it from a long-term strategic standpoint, wondering if his inability to kill Fury showed some sort of weakness in him, or that he was a little out, like he was crazy or whatever, maybe a little bit. That I think he was really questioning. You guys still hear me?
Yep.
I apologize.
Yep.
That could be many. I'm having technical difficulties. Maybe you know what? It could be the scrolls, or who knows? I don't know what's going on. It could be sword.
I think it's Gravik.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows? You never know. But
your
either way, it's a good thing I have that awesome avatar that I have no fucking idea how I even got it so I can look good.
No.
That anime.
Yeah.
Anyways, so no, so basically, I'll figure this out in a moment. But basically, I believe overall he was really like questioning Gravik's ability to lead in terms of the fact this is a dire situation here. Like they're trying to basically fucking take over Earth, right? Like this is no joke. And I think Gravik killed him because he had to. I do. I believe that, Gravik doesn't fuck around. Like he knows that like if he had jockeyed around right there at all, right, that would have made him look even more soft. So he had to ice him quick, right? I don't think he's just like some stone cold killer. I don't at the end of the day. He just looks at us as human beings as like basically, we're destroying the earth anyway. Like we're gonna extinct ourselves anyway. So we're like lower than dogs. But basically, we go right from there, into a basically, quick scene where Fury's actually participating in wheeling the like critically wounded president coming off episode 4 into the hospital, and he's in his ear whispering to him, trying to tell him that Rhodey's a Skrull, right? Don't listen to him. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot, like don't, whatever he tells you, don't listen to him. And we don't know. There's no way of knowing in the audience whether or not he heard any of it or took any. And we don't. That I did not notice anything later on, even. And we'll talk about what happened in that scene where he does talk to Rhodey. I didn't catch anything in there where I felt any cognition on his part, the president, unless he was playing like a poker face or whatever, that he even really heard Fury. I don't know. But who knows? Maybe the president's intuitive and like he on his own just might be able to tell something doesn't make sense. Either way, so we then get essentially Fury going after Skrull Rhodes, and kind of just to fuck with him. I think he just wanted to rile him up, try to get information out of him. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot, right? He knows that that they're not going to shoot him or anything whatnot, right? So, at that point, just, kind of talking shit to him, questioning him and whatnot and everything. Where's Gravik, whatever, and Rhodes, Skrull Rhodes basically tells him, we put the video out. It's already out there in the news. You killed, Agent Hill publicly. Everyone already knows it. So, basically you're about to become like one hunted, son of a bitch, which you already are anyway. He's already Rogue. And before I get too far, and we get into like sort of the coup that occurs within Gravik's own sort of organization, we do get Sonya, who gets her biggest scene time in the whole series in this episode. And goddamn, I hope that she gets more screen time in episode 6, the finale, because it'll help. It will. But she comes right in on Director Weatherby, a Skrull spy above her, right? At MI6, knows he's a Skrull. He's now played 3 different characters in the MCU because he was Boar, right? At one point in the first, I think, either the second or third, either the first or second Thor film, and then he also played what do you call it? He was in the Daredevil series. He played one of the mob soldiers of the Irish, of the Irish gang that kidnaps Frank Castle. Either way, holds a gun to his head, whatnot, everything, right? And then shoots him to show in front of like other MI6 agents that he's a Skrull to get to the identities of the scientists that the Skrulls kidnapped to turn over into the and then to create their Super Skrull program. So Jesse Starcher. At this point into the episode, where were you at?
Well, sitting right at my house on my couch, No.
Oh, you are a funny son of a bitch, Jesse.
I leave the comedy to you, Jeff. I should know better. I mean, okay. So I'm excited. I've got Olivia Colman on my screen. How's that? That's definitely one absolute positive that as I'm seeing her, I'm like, okay, we are finally getting some more. I know this is definitely not a show that completely centers around her, but the more of her that's in this, the better. You mentioned about how fast things went with Pagan again, I think was his name.
Yep.
So, there's a problem here with this series, and it's the fact that it's 6 episodes long. A lot of stuff has to happen quickly, and unfortunately, that is a big detriment to it. So, yeah, did things seem to go pretty quickly? Yeah, for sure, especially with Pagan and him. But the way that ended up, I wasn't expecting it. So I was expecting a little bit more cliche for some reason. I was expecting him, the followers be like, oh my goodness, he just killed him. We need to follow him some more. But no, that's not the way it went, which is good. I think that's a nice little turnaround there from what I was expecting. So there you go. Olivia Colman, thumbs up. Quick stuff happening in 6 episodes, thumbs down.
Yeah, she was really good. She is something else. She's got certainly got a sort of energy about her, like when she's on screen that's just really like fun and entertaining, right? Yeah.
I was looking up her her IMDb just because I was like, I'm sure I've seen her in some other stuff, but I had no idea she was in like 5 Thomas the Train and Friends movies. She's a voice, which unfortunately I'm sure she could probably just carry that same energy, even in Thomas and Friends.
Well, I voiced the Thomas Friends episode too myself.
Please don't send that to me.
Andres is a pop culture guy, brother. Tell me. Now, at this point in the episode, were you feeling that? I mean, were you already starting to see hints that things were heading in a direction you didn't like?
I don't think so. Well, okay. Actually, one big thing that I guess Kantra brought up last episode discussion was the address of Talos' death. Okay, I was very happy that we sort of addressed that death. That for me was the big sticking point. Now, I still don't like that they kill off the character, but I thought that the kind of almost like the Star Wars kind of death that you usually see, like from Return of the Jedi or like Qui-Gon's, like I did like that. And especially with Guy, I thought her performance here was really great, and her like regretting to say those words to her father from last episode. I thought all that was generally good. But that say, I thought that but it was weird. How did the daughter got Carol's body? That's so weird. Like, you think they will keep that high security for an alien body, right? I was just laughing in that scene. I was like, wait, how? I guess she's a Skrull, but it's just like it was just very flawed to do that. But I just had to say the Talos death. I was very happy they addressed it. I still don't like it. They kill him off, but I was happy to address it, but I'm still a little bummed that we lost Talos. But at the same time, I think the show did a good job of, exploring more of Nick and Talos' relationship after the first film. Like, that was something I'll remember about this show. And yeah, I agree with everyone about Sophie. She's the best thing about the show. Like, I mean, the fact that she shot the Skrull that was holding Dr. Dalton. I was like, by the way,
What show are you reviewing, Andre? Sophie.
That's the character's name. That's Sonya. Sorry, thank you. I sorry, folks. Thinking about other movies right in my head right now.
It's all right, Andre. Shit happens, man. I'm sorry. I had to fuck with you about that.
Yeah. Well, no, because I was like mistaken because it was just like I'm just surprised they gave her just like a human world. Like I think Olivia Colman should be a Skrull. I mean, this lady was in Hot Fudge. If you haven't seen the Edgar Wright film, and she was funny in that. Anyway, so she was great. We need more of that. I was happy that she had more scenes with Nick, so that was good. So, but yeah, I think the beginning wasn't like I don't know. I was still relieved from last episode.
Okay, no, I get where you're coming from. I do. And you actually mentioned something in there that I actually found that's kind of interesting in terms of I'll just go around real quick and everything and whatnot. I'll go over to you, Kendra, and I'll go around real quick and kind of just a sub question in the question, I guess, if you want, just real quick answers. I thought that the way they did Talos made sense because they didn't have any place for him in the MCU anyway. Would you agree, Kendra?
No.
Okay, Rico, what do you think? I think I don't think there wasn't anywhere for his character to go anywhere any further. I didn't think in the MCU. What do you think?
Well, yeah, like Guardians of the Galaxy. It could have ended with him and Skrulls taking off, and you have the MCU. He can fit in anywhere. You don't just write him off because he doesn't fit this season or this episode or this series. Like the MCU is basically from Earth to multiple galaxies away, which that's where he's from. So I can completely see him in the next Thor film, the next Captain Marvel film. If I hope they never make, but the next Eternals film. Wherever there's a sci-fi MCU, there is room for a Skrull or for Skrulls.
Okay. No, I get where you're coming from. Cyberneticshark, yay or nay on that? Did you think that you know we talked about it personally? I told you I thought that Talos was going to be killed in the series anyway. Remember?
Yes, I remember you saying that. No, I don't agree with it.
Okay. So you think that there was a place for him? That character could have continued on. They would have been able to write him into stuff. And he could have still been a valuable asset like in the MCU.
100%.
And that's because he's Ben Mendelsohn, of course, playing the fucking character. Definitely. I'm trying to, I hear you on that. Yep. What do you think, Jesse Starcher?
I mean, I don't think they would have had any problem putting him elsewhere, but I think his death was absolutely a necessary thing that had to happen in this series because, I mean, to me, I feel like that's going to be the driving force between Gaia and our antagonist here. They are going to fight, and that's going to be a big reason. And granted, she's not as attached to her father, but you can see that the death kind of weighs on her. So, I'm going to say that sure, they could have wrote him in anywhere they wanted to, but really, I think that this is something that had to happen in order to get this finale to occur.
Okay. Andres. What do you think?
Same here. Yeah, same. Like they just like killed off like a really interesting character for the Skrulls to like work with Seth, and they just got rid of it. And I understand where Jesse's coming from Gaia, but I don't like Gaia is not the major protagonist we're following. We're Nick Fury.
Right.
And I'm having this problem with the show that I'm having this problem where I get Rico brought up a couple of times, like Nick is very close off. He's very cool, he's not show off his emotions, like his emotional state, as often as some of our other heroes in the MCU. But
one thing, I was just real quick, you're talking about this emotional state of Nick Fury. I just want to pitch in here. As soon as he starts to act like he's enjoying himself, you need to be worried. because at that point, Nick Fury is doing some kind of crazy stuff that you need to be ready for. But
He
anyway,
plays
go
chess,
ahead.
not checkers.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's true. And see, I like that Fury. You know, like he reminds me of that, like in Phase 1 or Phase 2, or you know, like that type of Fury. But yeah, it's just it's tough for me if he, you know, I get he's been through a lot over the years of the MCU. You know, being Blip, losing Coulson, and I mean losing Shield, of course, with Hydra, the whole twisting and with the Soldier. You know, I get that. You know, but I just like I think he should show more like emotion to Talos, his best friend, and then Marie Hill, his second close friend, right? I don't know. I think this show is just struggling to show the importance of these characters to this main character for me, and that's where it's really faulty for me as far.
Okay. That sound is that's coming from your side, Nico. So I'm going to mute you for a minute. Yeah, just make sure, just stay muted until I call on you, because that murmur or whatnot is coming on your side. Now back to my initial question, Kendra. What did you think of that initial? I guess you could say maybe a quarter of the episode there, but you know, before Gravik actually experiences that like sort of quasi coup or whatnot amongst his like soldiers before that. Were you feeling it? I mean, were you into it? I mean, were you already sensing it like okay, like this is kind of not going at the same like level as like maybe what we've been getting?
I feel so bad because I was already like disappointed coming into this episode after last episode. So I was already ready for disappointment. I mean, it's just really if we're just staying within that little chunk, that little piece of it before what happens with Gravik, it's really just a normal process. We're seeing the president in the hospital. Obviously, Fury can't go back. There's the standoff between him and Rhodes. I mean, that in itself was nice. Getting to see Fury have words with Rhodey or fake Rhodey. But other than that, I mean, it was just atypical. It wasn't anything that was exciting. There wasn't anything more that we learned really in that couple of minutes. I would have rather seen Fury actually be upset about Talos than see him following the president. I mean, I guess great that we get to see that the president made it from point A to point B and was fine. I mean, woohoo. But for the storyline, it doesn't really do dick. So,
okay, I'm just curious. I mean, give me a runtime right now. We're 5 episodes in. Total runtime. What are we looking at? Like maybe 5 hours? Because some of these were like under an hour for sure, right?
Yeah, this one was only 39 minutes.
38.
38.
Yeah, 1 minute like less from last episode. Where that
was
they
keep going down.
Yeah.
Well, this finale is like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, my job is done here. Okay, 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm ready to review this next week. It's like, hey guys, best episode ever because
it'll be like 30 seconds of the Earth exploding, and that's the end.
The Skrulls won.
Yeah.
Nobody gets a home.
Nobody. That's like we all.
Oh my god. Yeah. I thought initially that was a good sign because like episode 3 was our favorites, right? Like episode 3 was really great, and then it just had this problem of pacing. The pacing was the issue for the last 2 episodes. And
I want to see what was cut out and left on the floor for this episode specifically.
Yeah. Because like for me as an editor, there were edits that was so confusing that like because I mentioned the Talos body. That's not the only thing they did there. Like we missed the part where we saw Nick's wife being a Skrull first, and then when Nick goes into the house, she's human form, and I was like, I was like, okay, when was this? It was like a quick edit. Like, why you need to linger that shot to tell me that? Oh my god, this is, a Skrull and that's Nick's wife, because the editing here was really awful in this few episodes, and I just feel like it hurts the show a lot. because you can remember like how to get to this like point A to B, as Kendra said.
Right.
And it's like
There has to be a pathway. I mean, there is something to being said to trusting the intelligence of your audience, but at the same time, shit has to make sense.
Right.
yeah.
Sure, most definitely. And now, of course, when we're talking about the character of the Skrull female that plays Rhodes, essentially that would be Rava, of course, right? And then Fury's wife, of course, is I apologize. She is Charlene Woodard, plays Vera, Varra, or Priscilla Davis. Right now, Killian Scott is pagan or was pagan. Rico, what did you think? I mean, did you detect anything in that opening where, like, I personally didn't really like feel any vibes myself right from the jump, where I was like, this episode is really going to kind of end up a little flat for me. Right at that point, where were you at?
Well, I don't know if you guys noticed the subject matter of the episode. It was Fury gathers and his allies, and Gravik deals with unrest. To me, I thought this episode was cool because of the continuity of those two factors. You got to see the allies, which was Sonya, and she's just badass. She reminds me of if Shield had a Mary Poppins. She can bake you cakes and kill your whole family in the same day. It would be awesome. She was just so perky. She did it with a smile on her face. I loved it. And then the very beginning of the episode, what I really started to like was the fact that the Skrulls, they're not evil. They just want to leave. They want something of their own. And Gravik is only leading them by fear alone. They know they have nowhere else to go, and Gravik is basically the only means to some normal to them, or some promise. And you notice, as you guys was talking about, you saw a mutiny, at least the beginning of an uprising or a mutiny, and so he had to basically kill a room full of other Skrulls, and then publicly kill Homeboy in front of everybody else. And then that's basically checked everybody else in the Skrull community. He's basically leading by fear. And that's what made this episode me, is because for the longest time, I thought this episode was geared towards every Skrull was a bad guy. And you just saw a different side of them, even for that moment.
Okay, most definitely. Now, Jesse, I already went. Did I already go to you? I can't remember.
Yeah, you started with me.
Okay, I apologize. I forgot there for
You're
a minute.
right.
I was just thinking about Andres and the fact that his first, he hasn't even taught 17 minutes yet. Combined, like we're talking about episode times. I was thinking about Andres, like, time. Like,
That means I'm going up now. I'm going up
in the different episodes. You know what I mean? Like, where can I find that data and shit real quick? That's why.
Excuse me, 60 Miniman. That's my name. You're not.
I like that. That's a good title too. I like that. But no, basically, the way that I understood it when we came in was they were making it clear. I thought that they were going to give us like basically almost an hour episodes. All episodes were going to be like 58 minutes or some shit like that. Didn't they say that in the beginning? Was that going to be the whole deal?
Yeah.
The whole concept of it was going to be we're going to get these like HBO Studios level fucking episode like type shits. Well, that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
it felt like the same Disney Plus shows. Like, this is how a lot of the Disney Marvel shows have done. Like, the first two episodes are like long, and then it's almost like from the beginning of episode 3, they started to get shorter, somewhat.
How long was this one?
38, I say.
38?
So it was like 38 minutes.
Wow. Holy fuck. So that means with the end credits, that means that it was fucking literally like only 34 minutes long or 35 minutes long.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, that is skimpy as fuck, man. No wonder. I mean, like, no, okay. Well, there you go. There's a question right there off that. Cyberneticshark would have added an extra 20 minutes to this episode to do something else? Would that have potentially? God bless you, Kendra. Would that potentially maybe done something to elevate the episode?
I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, if you added 20 more minutes of, footage of some sort that helped drive the story along, most definitely, I think it would have made it better. Because, like everyone has said, I mean, believe everybody but Jesse thinks it was a filler episode for the most part. And, I think that if it did have that 20 extra minutes, if they had made all these episodes 45 to, an hour long, they could put a lot more into it. And them all of a sudden, saying one thing, saying, oh, they should all be about an hour long. And then all of a sudden them, slowly teetering it down every episode, being a little less, a little less, a little less, kind of becomes annoying to a point, frustrating to a point that just, makes it no fun. But I mean, with this episode, for me, unfortunately, I don't think that 20 minutes, unless they resurrected Talos or if they hadn't killed Talos, that would have had to been in that extra 20 minutes for it to make it a better episode for me. But overall, I think that even 20 extra minutes could have helped it to be a little more entertaining.
Kendra, what would it have been like if they would have added an extra 20 minutes of the night that she hugged on me to the episode?
I mean, if they were already worried about their audience going away, that would seal the deal.
Oh, this went from spy thriller to something way different.
Great answer, Kendra. Great answer. Kendra, could 20 minutes have helped the episode, do you think? I mean, could they have done something else and whatnot and everything? I mean, don't get me wrong, like, without getting too far into the episode, there were some parts of it that were really good elements, I thought. Like, for instance, the fact that Gaia's really, like, they flushed Gaia out more right now and everything and whatnot. And I've started to like Emilia Clarke playing that character now more and everything and whatnot. I still could like her more, I think. You know what I'm saying and whatnot? But they're she's working with what they're giving her. Basically, I think. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's any flaws in how she's portraying the character Gaia at all. Me personally, but like, no, and like, of course, Fury's wife, the actress has been killing it, right? And all her scenes, she just fucking keeps killing it over and over again, just destroying the shit. So there's lots of strengths there.
There are, and it's not that saying that this is a filler episode necessarily makes it inherently a bad one. Just because you're a filler episode doesn't mean that you're a bad episode.
But for the fifth episode,
nothing important really happens.
But for the fifth episode,
hold on, Jeff. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
You asked me a question. Let me answer. If they had sat back, could every episode that they had shaved off time on been helped by an extra 20 minutes? No. I think 3 was perfect the way that it was. I don't think that they needed to add anything else to it. This episode, however, probably could have benefited from at least 15 of those 20 minutes. I think that there was more that they could have done, more they could have expanded on. In this specific case, I don't think that they should have shortened it down to 38 minutes.
Okay. Now, Rico, what do you think? Going off of what we kind of were given in the episode, do you think an extra 20 minutes would have benefited anything, or would it have really not done shit?
I think it's perfect. I looked up why they do that with miniseries, and throughout like 1 through 6, episode 1 through 6, they have a certain amount of runtime that they can use for every season. And that's why the first 2 seasons you get about an hour. And then after that you get like 48 minutes, 30 minutes. And all that's doing is building up for a season finale to be about an hour, maybe an hour 15, hour and 20. So all that time cut away, all that is more time given to the season finale. And the sheer fact that we are griping about that just lets us know, and other viewers know, that they are engaged. As much as they don't like the season, they're still intrigued and disappointed when they get a shorter episode, because at the end of the day, they want more. So I think Kevin Feige and Disney, they're doing it right. They have a rhythm, they have a method to their madness, and they know what they're doing. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't be here right now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know one thing. Kendra, did Andres already not flat out say that he was going to do the Ahsoka series?
He did.
Yeah, so you can't bail now, Andres. Don't be a baby and pussy out now, okay? You can handle some Ahsoka. It won't kill you. I'm sorry, Rico. No, Rico, I agree with you. You know, I think that there probably have been episodes like that we've already experienced where maybe if they would have added 10, 15 minutes to them, like whatnot, it probably would have made it even better and they were already good. Right. Personally, you know what I'm saying? Whatnot. Right.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I see where
again,
you're coming from.
I mean, look at Sonya Fallsworth's character. If they could have added an extra like 2 or 3 or 4 minutes of screen time of her here and there, I don't see how, honestly, adding her to every episode, I don't see how that would have hurt the series.
But I believe the only reason why we are thinking that and saying that is because we are truly engaged with that character. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to tune into the next episode just to see more of her. And that, I believe that's why they're doing it. They're leaving us wanting more. And you know, from their standpoint, they're doing the right thing. As much as we complain, we all can't not deny that we want more of her or more or longer episodes. So we're going to tune into the next episode, being hopeful that that episode is longer than the previous one. It's just naming the game.
For real. I'm telling you right now that that almost sounds like some shit that some guy called TrueKnowledge would say. But anyways, Jesse Starcher, what do you think, man? Like honestly, without question, you know, I think that the way that they finished off the episode pairing her with Fury almost, which I don't know if they're going to carry that over into the finale, and that's actually, I don't see it actually working out that way. I don't think that's going to end up being how the finale is going to play out, where they're going to be like they're going to be buddy all of a sudden and whatnot. I don't see it being that way. I think they're actually probably going to end up being more like Gaia and him and Fury in the finale. But we'll get in there in that at the end here. But what do you think? Could they have done something with an extra 15, 20 minutes of this? I mean, that was a short episode, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, what reason would there be? Like Kendra said, what did they cut out of here? Like, what I mean, to where they ended up with this short of an episode?
Right, I hear you. I mean, when I was looking at the episode as a whole, I'm not going to have a problem with what I was given here. I think a lot of my gripe about episode lengths is the fact that we don't have enough time to let our characters breathe and actually learn some stuff behind them. And that doesn't just happen to be episode lengths, which it could factor into that. It could be the number of episodes in the season. I think that's where I feel we should have had a little bit more. So things didn't feel as rushed. But, you know, look, I get what Rico's saying for sure. I want to see what's going to happen in this next episode. They're doing their job, which is exactly right. I just feel like there's a lot left on the table here that could be addressed in some way. Give these characters the time to breathe. give the story some time to breathe so I'm not jumping all over the place. And, you know, 1 minute we've got some real faithful Skrull followers, and then all of a sudden he's making a decision he upends that, and it just feels kind of rushed. So as for 15, 20 minutes on this episode, no, go ahead and end it at 30, 39 and make it an hour long finale. Take us back to the beginning of things. I want to see an hour episode, and I want to see some stuff go down too.
Andre's pop culture guy. Do you think that that adding more action maybe to the episode? I mean, there already was. I thought for this series there was quite a bit, but I mean, you know, if they done something more in that direction, you know, added more time, added more action, something like that could have maybe improved the episode.
No, I think I agree with Jess. I think I just need character development brief more. Like that's the issue. We have good, decent action. I think they're good, directed by and pace. But my big issue is just the character development for each character. Like none of them have like a time to shine or like breathe to you know, with the events that we're facing from the previous episode. You know, like I wish we spent more time with Gaia and Nick's wife more to talk about, you know, their time in Earth, you know, like their experience and like how it is like, and you know, and then, you know, comparing why Taros is fighting for this, you know, it's like I want more of that, you know, and we didn't get that. And then a piggyback on Rico and then Kendra's about the hourly time, like HBO shows and Showtimes, like they don't have to do it because they actually brief a lot of their character development well. But the Disney Plus shows don't do it, and that's where a lot of people have the problems with the series finale, or like it's always budgeting. I don't know if this show. I know this show is very expensive. They apparently
over $200 million. The budget was over 200 million plus.
Right. I get that, but it's like it's not about that. The show should be about the characters and like what they're going through, and that's the one crucial thing about the show is they're forgetting or like not hitting it right. It's like your character is going through in this journey, and like what I'm gonna take after this show with Nick, like okay, after he defeats Gravik and all that, like what he really went through, as a character, and obviously his next appearance is in the Marvels, and it's like okay, how's that? It's like it's very shaky right now for me. So 20 minutes should be extended. For me, I think the 20 minutes should be extended on the harvesting, because if you're gonna throw me this MacGuffin like so late, it's like you should have spent more time just telling me this how important it is, because this was the laziest thing I
was just going to say they throw some backstory in there for all our characters. Show us them collecting this stuff. Show us. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, like I was just like we needed more time with that. It's like even Thor: The Dark World made an effort to make the ether, the rarely known as important in the movie in 1 hour. I was just so like wow, like this was, and just last thing I will say about this is I don't think we don't need the harvest. It's like you already collected, these samples, right? It's like why we need this another extra thing that Nick was doing this as well. It's like I don't like that. You remember, Jeff, when we were last Monday we were talking about, I don't want to talk about too much about Walking Dead, but like they brought up two twists. The guy, the emissary, portrayed Maggie and Negan. He ratted out the main villain, and then towards the end of that episode, we got Maggie revealing that she actually tricked Negan to come to the island so that the Korak, gives Maggie her son back.
Kendra, he actually pronounced it correctly.
Yes, folks, I know how to spell the villain's name. But like you put two twists in one episode, and that's so too much. And here, this episode was too little. And it's like, come on, you need to spend time on these plot points. If not, then it's just going to be frustrating.
Well, bottom line, basically from there, I mean, I don't want to say things go downhill or anything like that and whatnot, because that's I don't think that's fair. But basically, right off of that really, good scene where we get, Sonya Falsworth, who of course, in the comics, she's not in the comics, but she's actually a descendant of Union Jack. That is like, that's a fact, right, Jesse?
Oh, you probably know better than I do.
No, Rico, I'm right. That's correct, right? Isn't she?
Jack?
Yeah.
Who is?
Isn't Sonya Falsworth the descendant of Union Jack?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I gotta look into that. I don't want to say yes or no, but I think so.
Yeah. No, I think either way.
She was.
Yeah, Falsworth was the Union Jack's last name. Anyways, no, we can look it up either way. It just occurred to me. But no, so right after that we get the coup, right? Like, which was a pretty good action scene. And what I was thinking when I was watching it was, I wonder how much that the actor there, the deer there, I wonder how much of that he did himself, of the combat and whatnot, right? Like how he seems like he's a pretty sturdy, like well built, young guy. He can't be freaking more than 30 years old. I wouldn't think, or maybe I don't know. I'd have to go look it up. But it was a pretty good action scene, I thought. Like, they do stage a coup. That was really quick. They rushed that, I thought, a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it was so quick for them to, these diehard like soldiers of his that like, were anything he tells them, normally they do it, whatever, whatnot, and they go ahead and try to pull a coup like that, and whatnot. But it was pretty solid the way they shot it and whatnot. And they put a plastic bag over his head and shit, whatnot. But he didn't use his super scroll powers either. Like he straight fought them essentially, I believe. Didn't he just go hand to hand with them? Like, I don't remember him really using any of his powers.
I think when they had him down, he turned into a scroll, but I don't think it was. I think he was just using his massive strength as a scroll. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, you know what though? I mean, honestly though, that you never know with the Call Obsidian DNA. Maybe he has like enhanced strength now or something like that, and whatnot. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
a part of the deal, right? So we don't know, but either way. Okay, he's 37, the actor. Thank you, Cyber. He looks pretty good for 37. I'll tell you that right
Yeah,
now.
no kidding. That's for sure.
Yeah. So basically, just so we get some pretty good action in there. We get to see some pretty good hand to hand, which I like with this, this kind of street level fare because it says that's what this is. I like to see that kind of hand to hand stuff. And at that point, we get Gaia, finally one-on-one with Fury, and I felt like I was looking more for that. That I expected more from that dialogue. I did. At that point in the episode, I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, I've been waiting for this, right? Like, remember I established, Kendra, Cyber, Andres in episode 1 or episode 2 or whatever it was. I mentioned that there's this theme that you see, like, we're playing out here, where there's like this, the way that they're influencing and evolving Fury is through these conversations, these dialogues with characters one-on-one. It's something that's been consistently they've been doing throughout the episodes, right? That and then the events, and it's shaping him, right? And as they're also giving us context and explaining and giving us little bits and pieces of the relationships of him with certain characters, like his wife and whatnot, right? And that's kind of the story. That's how they're kind of fleshing things out right now. I just expected more personally. I did from that. I thought it was good. It was good, but it could have been done better. I think that kind of deflated me a little bit. I won't lie, right there. Because I could have been. I don't know if it was the writing, maybe, or whatever, or something, whatnot. Because Samuel is really good, and so is fucking Billy Clark, right? So either way, that they talk and everything and whatnot. She basically says that like Gravik died for nothing, right? You know what I mean, and whatnot, right? But yet she still, wants to like team up with Fury and whatnot and everything, right? She still I guess, sort of, she hasn't like, come to fruition completely, in terms of like, finding some sort of middle ground with what Talos believed in before losing him, I'm saying, whatnot, which I'm sure they're going to give us in the finale, right? In some way, that, which that again could be somewhat rushed, what to see, but essentially, we come right off there from the safe house, which was actually the safe house we'd already seen earlier in the series, where he would meet his team, his Skrull team, right, throughout the years and whatnot, everything, that safe house. Now, at that point, Fury, wants to know what DNA Gravik, used for the super soldier process they have, and Gaia says he needs the harvest. So Fury says he's going to Finland. We get Sonya. Well, hello, Skrulls. Fucking hilarious. Loved it. When she finds the fucking Skrull scientists and shit and whatnot. That was great. That fucking scene was awesome. Shit was dope as fuck. She wants to know what they built. The male Skrull like tries to fucking get all tough and shit and whatnot, and Sonya just fucking drops him with one shot and shit and whatnot once he breaks his cuff. Like, yeah. I love that shit. That was really good. And you see like why the type of people that Fury likes, right? Because I get the vibe from that first episode that Fury's banged Sonya a couple times. It's obvious. He's put it to her, right? They've done the dance, so either way, which is cool. I dig that about Fury. But either way, you know, at that point, essentially she learns the location of like where, you know, they have, I believe, doesn't she? If I remember correctly, she figures out and is able to, you know, through the female, I'm assuming Skrull that portrays the scientist, is able to figure out where they're actually, you know, geographically located and where they're doing it, the actual process or whatever. That's when we get Gaia, and probably what you guys have already talked about. The really good scenes where Gaia actually, you know, hooks up with Graba, right? And essentially goes in there, and you sort of have a period where she's got a gun out openly and everything and whatnot, and they're kind of trying to give you this sense that, you know, to kind of throw you off to where you're like, you know, why is she holding the gun out and everything and whatnot, right? But she's there for help to bury Talos in like a proper Skrull traditional way, right? And we do get, you know, what I thought was probably another, you know, one of the good parts of the episodes were the scenes with Emilia Clarke, and you know, and with Gaia, and Graba, and I get where Andres is going with like the whole. It would have been nice to have some more flashback stuff to work with, to have seen like them, what it was like for them doing the operations and stuff for Fury, like what their missions were like, right? Like that kind of stuff. They could have brought in some real fan service stuff with that shit. You know what I mean? Like if they would have done more of that stuff, they could have really done some stuff. But either way, you know, at that point, you know, they do the burial, you know, and essentially, it's like, you know, it's sort of similar to like the Viking type shit where they burn the, you know, the body on the pyre and everything, right? And whatnot. And the dialogue was really great in between the characters and everything and whatnot. I thought it was great. I don't know what it was supposed to do necessarily, really, or build or whatever and whatnot, besides them, I guess, getting more like connected or tight. I don't really know. Well, I really wasn't sure. But either way, I enjoyed it. Holy fuck, man! Was that the villain, the guy from Scream? Like when he knifes people and shit? Was that what that sound was? That's the sound that sound. I was wondering what that sounded like. Holy fuck! Out that motherfucker right here. Dodge the fuck, dude. You better bark if that bitch pops up, motherfucker. Or sleeping and shit. What are you doing over there, motherfucker? He ate my whole fucking pizza the other day at the hotel and whatnot. You believe that shit? Fucking huge. My own fucking out of 2 large pizzas for Pizza Hut. Bella got one. I got one. I went outside real quick, ran to the car quick, and came back. And I sat on the bed. That bitch fucking opened that box, ate that whole bitch. Like, you son of a bitch.
Oh man,
like, are you fucking serious, bro? Come on now. Not even one slice. I said to him, I swear, I was like, not even one slice for me. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Man's best friend.
Like, seriously. Like, you don't know that that's for me, motherfucker. Anyways, I'm telling you right now, Dodger. Now you're affecting the way that I'm going to rate the episode. But anyways, no. So no, I like that they, you know, the aspect of the element of the Skrull traditional stuff and whatnot being sort of you know, brought out and whatnot. I do enjoy that. But basically right from there, you know, we go right to you know, essentially the president waking up and with the, you know, the Skrull Rhodes, who, based off of being told and ordered by Gravik, you know, says we need to attack Russia or like bomb Russia because Russia is, the Skrulls are with Russia against militarily, right? You know, the president's like, well, that's going to be World War III. Rose is like, yeah, that's right. You know, whatever, we got to do it, whatnot, and everything, right? Or, you know, or the survival of the human race could be at risk or whatever, whatnot, right? You know, they have to strike Russia, and they kind of leave it hanging there. Like, you know, the president they don't really say, he doesn't really like give a command or anything or whatnot, or give off that he knows that he's a Skrull or anything. At least I didn't notice, but I'll ask all y'all. You get Fury calling Gravik directly, which I thought was a good touch. I enjoyed that, right? And Gravik kind of just tells him what's up and what he wants and shit and whatnot, and how shit's gonna go down. You know, you know, we get fucking OT Fag Bentley back. Rick Mason from Black Widow pops up, right, to fucking say hello to Fury, right? Which was dope. You know what I mean? That was a good touch. I liked him. He was actually supposed to be Taskmaster. He was going to be Taskmaster before that they decided to make the changes they made and whatnot. He would have been Taskmaster, but they still ended up keeping him in the film anyway. I like that. That was good. I like the fan service with that. So and that's when the funeral actually happened, was after that scene actually. Either way, when they're at the house that Nick and and Vera shared, they are attacked by Gravik soldiers, and we get really great action scenes. And again, I thought the same thing. I'm like, I wonder how much of this is Emilia Clarke and the and the other actress. How much of this are they doing themselves? And how much of this is like stunt team people and whatnot, stepping in and whatnot, firing the guns and shit and everything and whatnot. It was really good. It was. They were great. I got to be honest. Either way, like they pulled them off well. The action scenes might have been the best parts of the action. That and Sonya were probably the best parts of the episode, I think. If anything, they've been pulling off the action scenes very well. It's just there's not enough of them, I don't think. But that, again, I'll ask you guys that. But I guess I'll stop there, right? We'll stop right there, right where essentially before Fury actually goes into Finland, right? And we we'll break it into that. That'll be our last part, and we'll go rattle off there. Now, Cyberneticshark, throughout that whole section of that episode, right? We'll call that probably maybe like 40%, 40 something like that of the episode, I guess maybe. It's kind of right, right off that intro period. Where were you at then? Like, kind of like, what was your take of how things were at that point in the episode? Did you like where things were going, or were things kind of already starting to fall, go astray a little bit for you?
At that point, I mean, I was waiting for something good to happen. I was waiting for something exciting. And we got to the sequence there where those three guys tried to kill Gravik, which was a great scene, I thought. I definitely agreed with that was really fun. That was probably my most favorite part of the episode, besides Sonya. And, but yeah, I mean, that little section of the episode, I kind of zoned out. I was just, as soon as they showed Talos was still dead, I was just done. I was done with the episode. I was like, this is fucking stupid. I was just done.
All right. I got you, man. Cyberneticshark, as usual, concise, right? But still very caring. A good friend. But Andre's the pop culture guy. Look, you were not first that time, brother. Can you believe it? You got to go second where you belong, bitch. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, so what do you think, Andres? I was still hanging in there at this point in the episode. I was like, all right, like, if you give me something here, like, I might still, this might still end up being pretty dope. I think I remember feeling like my energy. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when I called Kendra right at the end of the show, I was feeling it. I was like, this shit was lit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I liked it. But really quickly over time, I kind of like look back at it, reflect on, so where were you at that point? Kind of is where I'm at. I'm just saying, is that those scenes, was there anything that you can point out and whatnot that sort of maybe like you took off, it didn't work for you?
I think I had to agree with Cyber. I was like kind of zoning out because it was just like, scene, next scene, and then the next scene. Like we weren't developing anything new or like pushing forward our characters to maybe the finale, like something like that. Because the Taos theme was was awful. I didn't like it either. So but I agree. We didn't mention of the what is it, the skrulls like revolting against Gravik. That was a good scene. I actually like it because it was very hand to hand combat, which was good. I felt kind of bad with that scroll that Gaia brought in the first episode. It was kind of sad that he died. Okay, I think that was that point. I was like, oh, I felt so sad for that. That's one scroll that just wanted to live. But it was really cool to see the OT from Black Widow come back. That was really neat. Like I totally forgot about him. Like that was a good way to tie into Black Widow. So that was neat. But I was happy he used the mats, the like Mission Impossible digital mats they use in this MCU. Like I still rate this guy. So it was funny to see Nick Fury being white. If you know that he was actually white in the comic books, and being old, and that's guys.
It would
But
have been
it was-
great if he actually looked like the white guy in the comics, like with the patch.
yes.
That would have been great. That's one
Yes.
thing that if I want to gripe about anything, I'm throwing it out there right now. I'll revisit it here later. But this show needed more. I'm talking overall. Needed way more fan service than what's in here. Now, look, I'm not a big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guy, though. So, I understand there's a lot of attachment with people to Maria Hill and what happened with her. But, man, I just feel like there's so much more they could have done. But I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. And I like you brought up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, they did such a good job just giving you Easter eggs, man. Like,
bring it on. Yeah.
yeah, even the other Disney Plus shows were good at the Easter eggs. Like WandaVision has so many cool Easter eggs that were so creative. The commercials, like style of RoboCop. The structure. So whatever watch, like that was awesome. Yeah, I totally like. I mean, yeah, it was like so many light Easter eggs. It's like, oh yeah, Groot. Oh yeah, Extremis. Oh yeah, the telepathic Black Order member that was cool in Infinity War. This one hand, and the beast, the snow beast from the first Thor film. But yeah, it needed more Easter eggs. But Olivia Colman was great when she just starts the car and the music was starting, and it's like, really, that song? It's like, yeah.
Oh, we're doing this.
Yeah, that cracked me up, so to speak. And then the conversation, like from her and Nick, it's like, why do you allow whatever transaction to for Rhodey to do, because he was a Skrull, and she was like, oh my gosh, she's a Skrull, he's a Skrull too.
Andres, that's farther than where I even told you to talk about, man. Like I gave you like freaking like literally like 80% of the episode to talk about, and you still went past it.
I thought you were gone
because you had to
saw him.
Because you had to hit your 17-minute mark or whatever.
Whoa, Jeff, you just can't. I thought you were gone. So
I'm sorry.
Nice,
I'm
nice
still
to see
here.
you again.
I'm still here.
Anyway, yeah. See, that's how much I care about this episode. I don't care. I just want to move on. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I mean, I was zoning out, but hey, good actor scenes.
Yeah, no, most definitely, and we'll get into that in just a second. But Cyberneticshark, sir, I apologize, I went to you already. Rico, what did you think? Again, were you still hanging in there at that point in the episode? We still had probably a good, I don't know, like 10, 12 minutes left to go, where it was mostly just Sonya and Nick, right there towards the end. You know what I mean? Whatnot, right? And that's pretty much it. What do you think? I mean, did you at least enjoy the scenes where it was Gaia, right? And Nick's wife, and everything and whatnot, and them teaming up, like the action scenes.
Yeah, I liked the action scenes when they took out half the Skrull army. That was cool. I thought that was it a Skrull army? Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah, that was cool. I believe this episode had a lot of action in it, not a lot of dialogue. There was dialogue when it was necessary, but I feel as though for this particular episode they wanted to push more action, because that's what we were lacking in the previous episodes, other than the big war that was at the last episode of last week. I really did like the touch with the fake skin. That right there, that's a throwback to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the show. I also want to throw out there that there was a rumor that Agent May, the Cavalry, is going to be coming into the MCU through either a Disney Plus show or the MCU, and also Quake. So I'm looking forward to that. And wouldn't it be really cool if the season finale had one or both of them in that? But to get back on topic, it got real dry, real dull, and I was just waiting for the credits. You know, I don't want to go too past far than what you were talking about, but when I don't even remember where they went to. Iceland, Finland, something like that.
Yeah. Well, they end up. Yeah.
Finland.
Yeah, I thought that was a complete pointless. It was pointless. You know, he opened some catacomb, some tomb. He
Hold
got
on.
an eye
Hold
patch.
on. Hold
Sorry,
on.
see?
I'm saving that.
bad.
I'm saving that.
Yeah,
No, we're gonna go right to it. We're gonna go right to it. And I thought I had your audio fixed, but you know what? I didn't. But I'm gonna figure it out. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Jeff's throwing it to me, but he muted himself.
Yeah, I was trying to mute Rico, and I muted myself. That's some true knowledge. That's some true knowledge shit right there, Jesse. Jesse, were you feeling like the Rico vibe and the Andres vibe on that shit? Were you like bombing out at that point or whatever and whatnot?
No. I mean, I hate to hear that this kind of had people zoning out and waiting for the credits because these were what you just covered was like some of the biggest action scenes I think we got out of the series so far. Now that's not to say anybody's opinion is wrong, because you had 4 episodes building up to this, and did it really matter? I don't know. It was really cool to see Gaia and Priscilla back to back taking out some Skrulls. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. Like I said earlier, the whole coup, wasn't expecting it, and it definitely nailed home the fact that Gravik is a jerk and an evildoer for sure. So that needed to be done. When he slit the throat of that guy in front of everybody, you're like, okay, well, we know this guy's whole agenda needs to be stopped. So we had some of the biggest action scenes, and I think that it says a lot for this episode and probably the series as a whole as to like, okay, why aren't I excited for more? Why don't I want more when I've got this in front of me? Have action, but make it mean something. I mean, yeah, it's cool. I like Gravik's part, but I mean, Priscilla and Gaia, it was just kind of like, hey guys, grab a gun. It's your turn to go. And granted, that also, it does help kind of make us understand, Jeff, I think you mentioned earlier, you can kind of see what Nick Fury sees in some of these women. And I would say Priscilla, she was able to hold her own for sure. But anyway,
that's what ran through my head. I don't know about you, but during that action scene, I said to myself in my head, I was like, I can see why Nick would like her. You know what I'm saying? Not like he enjoys like talking to her and being around her and whatnot, and like like just chilling with her and whatnot, and everything, right? He obviously like is down like with hitting it. He ain't complaining about that area. And you know what I'm saying? And on top of that too, look, she fucking can get down too. Like I bet some of the missions that they probably did and shit whatnot, like she was probably one of the top fucking like most lethal operatives probably he had probably was her.
Mm-hmm.
I bet she used to do like some of probably the dirtiest shit that they did was probably she'd be on those squads.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because she's got skills. But Guy can fucking throw down. Guy can throw down too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's my feeling on that portion there.
Now, I wonder where one thing I did wonder to myself a little bit was like, now why would Gaia be like that trained? You know what I'm saying? Like, did she also? I mean, was she also just a part of like the Fury squad there too? Did they flush that out in the episode and establish that she was one of his team too or whatever and whatnot? I really wasn't sure.
I can't say that I know for sure. Go ahead.
No, that's all. I just no. I'm putting it out there openly. Did they? Was that the whole impression they were trying to give us?
Again, another thing. If that's not if we don't know for sure, that's another argument for the fact that we needed some more time with these.
I couldn't tell from their conversation whether or not like they had a relationship before or whatever. I really couldn't tell. Right. Obviously they've known each other. No. So basically at that point, Kendra, I guess to tail things off, what do you think? I mean, were you in there hanging in there still?
for all the crap that we've given this episode, there really were good moments, and some of them have been brought up. I mean, getting to see Bato go against Gravik and raise this rebellion, showing that there is an unrest amongst those Skrull, was very, very nice. And it was actually, it could have been a pivotal moment, because we've watched Bato from the beginning when he arrived at the encampment all the way till now. And while there was a little bit of footing there, he didn't have full character development, in my opinion, because we got to see him have a little bit of pullback in the last couple of episodes because he didn't agree with what was going on. But there really wasn't any indication that there was going to be a coup, which would have been nice. Maybe not, you know, full in our face, but maybe just like a slight bit of you know, any kind of indication that that was going to happen, so that it would have meant more. I really think that my problem with this episode is that there are important moments that happen, like with Talos's funeral ceremony, where you get to see Gaia and Vera do him the service of providing a proper burial. There should be so much meaning in that scene, and I just don't feel like it has the same impact that it should. I mean, yes, you have Gaia doing this beautiful scene where she's looking at Vera and she's like, I don't know the prayer. And you see that, and there's a lot of things that could be read into it, but you shouldn't have to. I mean, that's one of the massive undertones to the show, is that the Skrulls are looking for a home. And what is more sad than to see your culture, what makes your people disappear throughout the timelines because of forced circumstances? The young ones aren't keeping up with those traditions, and it's sad to see that, and it should be impactful, and it's not. So it makes me mad, because there are lost opportunities. I understand that there's a business model that people can look at and say, oh, well, if we shorten the impact of or shorten the amount of time on the episodes, we could have a longer finale. But what you're chancing in that is that people are going to drop off because of disinterest, because you haven't made those impactful standing moments, and you haven't connected with your audience, which I guess falls along the lines of what some of you were saying when it came to fan service. There should have been more. I mean, I liked the fight sequence. Obviously, Sonya is one of my favorite characters. Every time that woman is on the screen, she owns it. She demands your attention, and it's always worthwhile to see what she's going to do. But was that enough to make this episode worthwhile remains to be seen. But up until now, like, there is goodness, but there were such simple choices that could have been made to make it more impactful, even if it was just as simple as having a background sequence play as a flashback to see, you know, what led up to things. Or, you know, when it comes to the harvest, even if you didn't show the faces of the people that were collecting the DNA and made that a who's who type of thing, you could have still had a moment where you showed them collecting all of this DNA. You could have had a moment during the funeral where you pulled, I don't know, maybe a Star Wars gimmick and had the ghosts of Skrulls welcoming their general back to themselves, since he can't go home, but they were waiting to welcome him. There were such simple things that I think could have been done that wouldn't have taken much more time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes max, that just, they missed the mark.
Kendra, do you want to address Travis Mitchell here and whatnot and everything really quick? And I'll let everybody else take a swing at this too. What do you have any thoughts on what Travis is talking about here? And then he also mentioned about President Ellis from Iron Man 3.
From what I'm seeing, it looks like Travis is saying that anytime that somebody around Nick Fury dies, instead of confronting it or healing from it or even acknowledging it, he runs away from it. And I think that we get two very good examples so far in the five episodes, because when it came to Hill's death, he didn't really run from that one. I don't see him running away. He faced the mom very well. He promised vindication. So I do like how that was handled, because it isn't him turning coward and running coattail. But when it comes to Talos, I'm still on board what I said last episode. I feel like it was a disservice, and it's really disrespectful how you're going to kill a character and then not even let his death have meaning. So this finality better be a banger.
Okay, well, you know what? That's fair. I think Kendra, that's really poignant that you mentioned that. Rico, do you think that you would have been happier maybe if Fury would have at least talked about Talos dying or whatever, whatnot? I'm not saying he should have cried, or some shit or whatever, whatnot would have been kind of like maybe over the top, right? But like, I'm just saying, like, at least said something, fucking like, you know what I mean? Like, to Gaia or whatever, right? Like about like what he meant to what Talos meant to him. Because it's obvious that with Talos that like Fury was like his like one of his best friends.
Of course, like they've been through it since 1995, I believe, and they not only he watched Gaia grow up, you know, that was literally the first human man she's seen, and they became a family, especially when he went up in space. Like I would say, Fury is almost like a godfather to her. So why not go to his goddaughter, and you know, and embrace her. Be like, hey, I'm sorry you lost your dad, but I always got your back. I'll be there for you. He was a good man, such and such, yada yada yada. But Kendra, you said you were upset that the fact that Gaia forgot the Krill prayer, correct?
No, what I'm upset about is that in that moment with the funeral, that it wasn't as impactful as it could have been. That sequence where she says, "Hey, I don't know the prayer," that feels like that moment between her and Vara could have been far more emotional than it was.
Because from what I know about the Skrulls, at least from comic book lore, the more they embody a human being, the more they become that human being, and the less they become Skrull. They completely forget the Skrull way. So
well, and I would be fine with that if they didn't have Vera being the exception to that rule, because of all of the ones that we've been presented, who really has embraced being human more than her?
Yeah, true, very true. But go back to your question. Yeah, Nick Fury should have definitely, looked her up and spoke with her, and took a minute, to talk. But that's Nick Fury. He's at war. He is focused on the objective, and he knows in war soldiers fall, and he's very realistic to that. So that's maybe why he chose not to. But there's always the season finale, and they're gonna reconnect, and there's gonna be a minute or a moment where they hug it out, and he's gonna be like, "Yo, I'm sorry you lost your dad. He was a good man." But that's just Nick Fury for you.
Okay, most definitely. So, basically, at that point, the final part of the episode, really when it boils down to it is just like, as we talked about, is just basically, sort of, all Sonya, all Fury. It's dialogue, as Rico mentioned, as Andres mentioned, where, they talk about the harvest, what it is, and whatnot, and everything, right, and whatnot. Fury gives us background information when we're at his, like, he uses the Black Widow face screen, the invisible, like, the slip screen deal or whatever, whatnot, from Captain America Winter Soldier. He uses that bitch in the airport and whatnot, as you see on the news, his image, and it's showing, Fury kills, right, Agent Hill or whatever and whatnot, right? Yeah, it's really dope that, like, she's playing rap music in the car and shit and whatnot, and like talking shit when Fury gets in and whatnot, everything. Like, she just has this spunk to her, like, which I dig. But and it's cool. Like, I mean, like, that's a pretty positive part of the episode. Right. I guess I think that's probably why I reached out to Kendra afterwards. And like was sort of like looking back at that point and feeling pretty good about it, was because I was really feeling those scenes with fucking with the Coleman actress and whatnot, and fucking Samuel L. like, vibing and whatnot and everything, like, what I mean? Like, sure, we lost Talos, like, that shit sucks, man. What do you want me to say? Ben Mendelsohn's fucking like a monster. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, seriously. And I watched Rogue One twice in like the last 2 weeks, and fucking he's like seriously fucking kills it in that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, legit kills it. And that's a dope ass fucking movie too. That's why I had to get that Rogue One poster up in the corner, baby. What's up? Can't wait for Ahsoka. Andres, right, baby? That's right. Andres, can't wait for that. Ahsoka, baby. Can't get
I'm not
get
in
some.
the panel, folks.
Can get some. Anyways, No, so basically, right? The coolest, I mean, basically all I can really say about it is you guys can talk about whatever you want about that final, aspect of the episode. I love the fucking ending, man. When he goes in that locker and gets that fucking gun out and says, "It's time, let's finish this" and shit and whatnot. I was like, yo, fucking A, bro. Get it, Fury. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wrote that shit down, man. There you go. Fucking A. That simple. Bam. I was like, bam, that's fucking dope. That was good. That I liked. I was like, all right. You know what I mean? Like, that actually got me a little bit pumped for fucking the finale. Did I was like, oh shit, really? Okay, let's do it. Right? Like, how's this gonna go down? But then again, at the same time, though, the episode was so short, I'm not even sure what the fuck's even happening in the finale. Like, what happens? What even happens next? I don't even know at this point. Like, since they didn't really explain it. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the full extent of in the episode, I didn't really get the gist of it. I understood exactly what Fury's next move is, whatever. Well, I had no idea. So whatever. So Cyber, what do you think? As I've said in the private chat, just take as much time as you want. Expound as you feel the need to, on that final, sort of, I guess maybe 15-20% of the episode, with the two characters and how we wraps up with Fury, and then your rating.
All right. So the conclusion of this episode is pretty much like the only part that I feel was useful to this episode. Simple fact that Fury gives us information about the reason why Gravik is doing what he's doing, giving us a reason for what the harvest really is. And then we get, of course, more time with Sonya. So I think the ending to the episode is pretty good, pretty fun, pretty basic. Of course, he goes to a place in Finland. He's got the harvest in his tombstone there. And then, of course, he's got that Coliseum that has all his stuff kind of hanging out. He gets his eye patch out again and finally puts it on. So he looks more like Nick Fury. And having the dead eye always showing. And it's pretty basic. I mean, nothing special about it, but overall, I'm glad that they explained at least what the harvest is, that it's the leftover DNA from the events of Endgame, which I thought was kind of a cool little concept that, they decided, let's go find DNA from these people at the Battle of Endgame. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, this is kind of an interesting concept, and I could see more of this. And so I did enjoy that. I did like that. I did like the fact that they decided to, kind of finally give an idea of what Gravik is all about, kind of, finally where Nick ties into Gravik, and kind of why he decided to finally come back down too as well, saying that this is personal. And the fact that he explains to Sonya that he is married to a Skrull, and that's why he has a connection to it too as well, I think is a very poignant little section of this episode. So I definitely think the last part of this episode was the best part. I really enjoyed it. I wish there had been more to this episode, just like everyone has mentioned. 38 minutes, not very long, not a lot of time to give you a lot of information, kind of compact it. And I would have enjoyed more. Like I said, I would have enjoyed if they hadn't killed off Talos. Like I always say, I take off 3 points automatically for any death in any Marvel or movie production. And just overall, I still feel that this was a filler type of episode. And that it was, it was what it was. You have to always expect kind of an episode where there's going to be information or an episode that you're not really going to enjoy the most out of all the episodes, because that's just kind of how it works. And it's kind of like that section of a movie where you're like, okay, I could have done without that section. They could have trimmed that out, could have gotten a little faster to the ending. It's kind of like that. So that's what I feel about this episode. I would give this episode a 5 out of 10.
Okay. Andre's the pop culture guy. What you got, baby?
I am a ghost. So apparently, I wish I could be a ghost so I can never watch the show. Anyway, no, I'm just joking. Horrible trope. Anyway, yeah. So the final scene, I like it. I think I think it's great to see Samuel Jackson talking with Olivia Colman. I think those two actors are amazing. I think we need more of that. So it was great to see them together. It was good that Nick explained the harvesting. I think it was. I mean, as Cyber say, it's important to lay out your final plot points here. So that's what they did, and no matter my nitpicks, it's good that they laid it out here quickly. So that's good. I like the plot of it, but I just wish it was. I wish we did it more creatively and sort of set it up early in the series. But hey, the amount of time we did, it was good enough, maybe. But yeah, him getting back to his like jacket and his eye patch was really great. You know, get him back to his Nick Fury visage that he always wears since the MCU. So that was good. Yeah. So at the end of the episode, I'll probably put this 6 out of 10. I think I mean, it's a filler episode, as a lot of us say. It's not that bad. I mean, it's better than some of the other filler episodes I've seen that they waste their time.
It's not good when there's a filler episode before the finale of a TV series. Anybody who's ever watched TV knows that it's not a good sign.
Yeah. And this didn't have that problem. I mean, like it didn't. I mean, I seen the Arrowverse, like their like last episode before the series finale. Sometimes just don't pay off a lot of the plot points they set up in the whole series. So yeah, so this wasn't that. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. It's good. It's not great as the last 3 episodes, or really episode 3 for me in this show. But it's not horrible.
Kendra Smart.
Why we gotta call out my government name, first of all?
Because I'm testing your nuts there, champ. What's up?
I do like the camaraderie between Sonya and Fury. I don't know necessarily about the whole bump and uglies theory that we've been discussing this episode, but I do like that Marvel, when they do present their women, they have it in a way where it's undeniable that they're badass. I mean, there is so many layers to their characters, but especially with their women, and I do appreciate that. Sonya has and will continue to be my favorite character, because I don't even care if I only get 2 minutes of screen time with her. She owns it, and she makes me want to watch more, just for the simple fact that I might get to see more badass scenes with her in it. But I do like that we get at least a moment that is as important as it feels it should be, which is him opening that bond of trust with her by letting her know about Vara and about Nick. And that's a wonderful thing, because in a world where you can't trust anybody, and that was the whole premise of Secret Invasion, was being in a world with who can you trust. It was nice to finally get that moment of, oh, well, shit. who is who? And I like that we got that. There were a lot of good moments. I'm not going to say great, because we've already seen what they can accomplish earlier on in this series. There were a lot of good moments. They weren't great. They could have been, but they weren't. So for me, I'm probably going to be right with Cyber on this one. And this one would have been a 5 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Rico, what you got, brother?
Well, you got 38 minutes, right? This episode had the most action out of episode 1 through 5. Well, 4. This being the 5th. I think we got 38 minutes of mostly action. But the ending, I just want to wrap it up, man. The ending, like, you lost Telos. You lost your wife. I think it's now a super scroll. You've been losing every episode. Now it's time. Maybe it's too late. What are you gonna do now when you're so close to failure that you're gonna just turn it around in one episode? So I am strongly looking forward to the next episode and seeing what he's holding back, or what he knows is to come.
Good point. That's a great point, Rico. That really is. It's really good to put out there. I think that like I never said, and I should have pointed out, as the Mariana Trench audio comes back to haunt us again. I swear to God, man. I'll go. Hold on, Rick. I'll go back to you. But no. But basically, there's nothing about the episode that was that bad to me or whatever, whatnot. That where like I'm not optimistic about the finale still, and like think that they could still give us something really good. I just want to make that clear. Like I still feel like thank you for Rico for bringing that up and whatnot and everything and all that. That's a really good point to make and everything and whatnot. That I in no way feel like, oh shit, this episode was so bad that the finale is doomed. They can still bring this shit back as far as I'm concerned, right? So like these ratings can obviously turn around. I'll go back to you so you can finish up, Rico.
Well, overall, yeah, I like this. I like today's episode. It wasn't one of my favorites. Well, I will give it a good firm 7 out of 5, maybe, just for the fact that it was a lot of action. Other than that, it was cool to see that more than just dialogue. And like,
did you say 7 out of 5 or 7.5? I was going to say 7 out of 5 is not
7.5. 7.5. Excuse me.
Okay.
7.5.
All right.
In some aspects, I think, and correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, but I feel as though Secret Invasion is overcasted. Not overcasted as in it's overviewed by something, but is over too many cast members, and that's why we're not able to really dig in and get to know these characters on a personal level in this short amount of time.
There's too many all-star fucking goats.
Yeah, because we got people in the White House, we got people in Russia, they're scattered all over the place. England, and they all have a formula to make this greater good, but we're not going to be able to see them all highlighted the way we want them to see because we just don't have the time. So great show, good concept, perfect idea for an adaptation of Secret Invasion, but I think there's just too much going on for a little frame of time.
They should have done 8 episodes instead of 6.
Or just confirm a solid hour. Just confirm a solid hour. So every at least get their fair share so we're not left lost, confused, or we don't feel like enough is getting put out there to confirm something or to ruin the confusion. But that's what do I know, right?
There you go. Jesse Starcher.
So a lot of what these final few minutes of this episode had me wondering is a question that is asked by Sonya, I believe, and that is, why don't you call your superhero friends?
Yes.
And I mean, yeah, I'm sitting there wondering the same thing. Everybody else should be as well. And of course, Nick's reply is this time it's personal. So yeah. I understand. Okay. All right. Nick Fury, center stage, buddy. Go for it. All right. I'll go ahead and let it slide. This is your journey. And there is a lot of talk throughout the series so far about how broken Nick has been since the blip. And, yeah, he has been losing a lot. What is he going to do? So there is a lot that needs to happen in this last episode. And guys, I'd love to tell you that I am confident that they will do it right, but I will say that I am not. I'm really, I have high hopes and I want them to so bad, but they have so much to come back from and really resolve and make it feel good. Like it's got to be a really good series finale to make this thing land. Like, okay, I'm glad I watched this. Right now, I don't know. I mean, I'm at a situation where like, okay, I've learned a lot about Nick Fury somewhat. I mean, as secretive as he is, I'm invested in this kind of spy thriller where I don't know who is who and what is what. And, but I just don't know if they can do this in this last episode. So it
That's very fair.
I think what they wanted us to do is like they wanted us to see Nick Fury grab his eye patch and his gun, and okay, he is off. Man, I can't wait to see what kind of mess he's going to wreck on this guy. And it's almost like, okay, he grabs his stuff and he kind of walks off. It's time. And you wrote it down, Jeff, because it's a great statement. But man, it's one man versus all of this. You better call some people. You better bring in some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You better call in some favors, Nick. That's your deal. He is the guy that brought the Avengers together.
Well, if there was a time for fucking Captain Marvel to pop up and whatnot and everything, and inject her ass into the fucking game, you know what I'm saying? This would be it, the finale.
Right. And you want to see that. But the thing is that you got to think to yourself, are they going to do that? Are they legitimately going to do that?
I fucking love it if they did.
I see Rico down there shaking his head. No, it's not going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I think it would be dope as shit. Say what I may talk shit about fucking Captain Bree here and there and whatnot and everything, but if they drop Captain Marvel up in that bitch and she coming down there and started kicking ass and shit, I'd be like,
there's no doubt that it would be awesome. That would be awesome, but I just don't think it. It's one of those things where it's like I don't think they would be.
No. There's going to be somebody though. You guys have all someone here on the panel. Everyone on the panel, I think mostly is all. At least Rico, you have Jesse, you have Kendra. I think you said something too. That we probably will see somebody pop up in the finale. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's a character that we don't even know that's going to just come out of nowhere, kind of like OT did, right? You know what I mean? Whatnot, and just be like, bam, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Because he needs a team. He needs a squad at least. And like Sonya and Gaia and him, right? And his wife, like that's not really. I mean, versus like what Gravik and his fucking team and squad and shit. I don't know about all that. Go ahead, Kendra.
I just had a thought. So one of the main things that they set up at the beginning of the episode is that Bato has died during the rebellion and the coup. And in a very public place. I mean, it's definitely in front of women, children, men, fellow Skrull. So what if he doesn't get, or what if that's not what happens? We don't get any kind of superhero cameo or anything like that. But what if we get to see somebody from within that coup reach out to Fury and join them? So we'll see all of these people who thought they were under Gravik coming in and joining that side with Nick Fury and with Sonya, and we've already seen examples of other Skrull who are not on Gravik's side. I think that could be an intriguing lead if that's the way they plan to take it, with Nick Fury keeping it personal.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, as far as rating goes, there's 5 episodes, so I'm going to rate it out of the 5 that I've seen, and I'll give it. I'm going to put it in the middle. I'll put it at number 3. So. That I would say that as far as this one goes, there's definitely some action, but I liked a couple other ones better than this one. So there you go.
Okay. I think I got everybody in, didn't I? Well, there you go. Yeah. And I'm going to give it the rating on this one. Probably I'd say, a 7. I give it a solid 7. So like, close to Rico, you know what I'm saying? Whatnot. Like, I don't think it's that bad. That final, like, I don't know, that final 10 minutes did give me hope. Right. I felt like a little bit of a rush there. I was like, okay, let's see. You know what I mean? Like, you got one more episode. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, hey, hopefully it'll be at least an hour long. Well, let's hope. But essentially, I was just wondering, Jesse Starcher, what would you like me for your plugs, sir? What would you like me to pull up? I mean, you have various podcasts that you're on and whatnot and everything, right? So,
all right, dude. Yeah, if you can hop onto Facebook, go to the Source Material Comics Podcast Facebook page.
Ooh.
Maybe check that out. I don't know if you want to pull that up and take a look.
I can make that happen. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. What is it now? Go to Facebook and
Source Material Comics Podcast.
Got you.
Hopefully you should be able to find it pretty quickly. Yeah. Hey, look, I do a lot of podcasts, hanging out on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network for quite a while. Started a comic book podcast over there called the Source Material Comics Podcast. Got my own feed now. So if you subscribe to it through any podcatcher, should be able to find it out there. I do the Source Material Comics Podcast, which is essentially just a book club for comics. and also do a podcast for, it's called the Unspoken Issues podcast. We're affiliated with the Unspoken Decade, which is a 90s comic well, they have a nice Facebook page, but it's a 90s comic website, and we just focus on 90s comics, talk about that. So I will throw a kind of related plug here to this show. I did participate in a podcast with Kapow, the Pop Culture Podcast, that just released, I think it was yesterday, where they are ranking all of the MCU films. All right. So they've divided this up into 3 sections. I was in the middle section. I didn't get to participate in the bottom half or the bottom third, and I don't get to participate in the top third, but I got to get in the middle. And let's just say, if you get a chance to listen to it, great, because right at the beginning, at the number, I think 22 spot, is a movie that somebody picked. Now, granted, we had vetoes. We could do all this other stuff to make sure some movies didn't get in there versus somebody else's, because we all pick stuff. But anyway, there's a very big surprise right at the beginning. Really horrible pick that somebody made, and unfortunately, I couldn't veto it, so it made it on the list very, very low. So if you get a chance, check that out. Kapow, the Pop Culture Podcast. And they haven't released the top part of that ranking yet. See what you think. So that's it. I'm stepping back, Jeff. That's all I got.
Okay, most definitely. Well, next, Andre's a pop culture guy. I've got you pulled up. Where are you at, sir? Where's your YouTube number at? What's the deal? What's the scoop? How's it going?
Doing good. Come on. So thank you everyone for the MCU Bleeding Edge. You guys have been awesome, very supportive. Just all I ask is hit the subscribe button and hit that like button. So it's been pretty much the same. 784 subscribers. Recently, I just put a Mission Impossible video tribute. I already put out my top ranking of the Mission Impossible movies. I seen the new one. I will say it's what Secret Invasion is trying to be, but Secret Invasion is failing, where Mission Impossible is exceeding. And not to spoil things, there is a major death for a character in Mission Impossible. And I don't know, it's just too convenient that this new movies is doing similar things in the Secret Invasion. Anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at right now on my channel. I'm don't know what's gonna be next coming up, but just check out when you hear that beep in the notification. But thank you everyone. It's been fun. 5 months. And I can't believe it. It's almost there. So, yeah.
There you go. There goes my camera again. How about that?
Yeah.
Fucking Mac. I'm telling you, man. What's up, Matt? What's up, Apple? What's up with this MacBook Pro? Fuck me up. Come on now. Anyways, Andres, I got you, brother. I'm finally going to start running some advertisements and whatnot and everything for you and Cyber so I can get your asses fucking over that 1,000 mark quick by the end of the year. I promise. I just went and bought more gift cards over the weekend and whatnot. I've got $25 gift cards, baby, and a bag of crack for every subscriber. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding, folks. We would never do that. The Bleeding Edge would never do anything like that, ever. We would never be involved in anything illegal like that. We don't do that kind of stuff. But Cyberneticshark, sir, where are you at right now currently in the subscriber count mark? Have you gone up since the last time that we've inspected it?
I'm at 682 there, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
I got up about 3. I've got about 3.
Hey,
since the last time I was on.
That's good, man. You know what? It's everyone that counts.
Yep. So as you can see there, I got my most recent video up, folks out there in the great YouTube land and all social media lands. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. I can't agree with Andres on that Mission Impossible is trying to do the same thing as Secret Invasion. I think they're 2 completely different things, but Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is fucking amazing. You must see it. It is got to be one of the best damn films this year so far. You got to go check it out. It's
Cyber,
worth
if you
seeing
want to
in
review
theaters.
it, we'll review it, man. Andre's already he wanted to review it on Monday, dude, and I was like, me and Isabella didn't get to go because we didn't know it was 3 hours long. So if you want to review it, you just let me know and we'll find a time and we'll review it.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 43 minutes.
Yes.
But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, check it out, people. And of course, as you can see there, I got my Indiana Jones review up there for you guys. A few trailer reactions. I'll be having some more trailer reactions up here soon for you guys. But yeah, let's try to get that subscriber count out. Let's try to hit that 1,000 by the end of the year, people. By December 31st would be great, you know. So yeah, that'd be nice to go into the new year with 1,000 subs, you know. So yeah, if you haven't subbed already, sub, people. Sub.
I think we can make that happen, Cyber. I'm pretty sure we can.
By the way, I wanted to correct this before, but for everyone, Mission Passport 1, great film. It's not similar to Secret Invasion, but they did something similar to what Secret Invasion is doing. I cannot spoil it if you've seen the film, but yet again, they kill off a major character, but I cannot go too far. So it's just weird. It's just weird. This summer is like, oh, we need to kill off major characters.
And that goes where does that go for? How does that help us with Secret Invasion Episode 5?
I wouldn't consider that character a major character.
Well, either way, folks, we will continue this conversation in the studio area. But Rico, my friend, I came and visited the shop. Yesterday. I'm going to break my vape. Rico, what's going on, brother? How's it going? I know I just spent some damn money at the fucking shop the other day.
Yeah, everything's going groovy, man. I just also want to put some side note that Nick Fury cannot call the Avengers to help fight the Skrulls. Can you guys imagine if any Skrull got their visual sight line on the Hulk or Captain Marvel or Thor? They'll completely turn into them and shut it down. And can you imagine 5 or 6 or a dozen Hulks running around? Like it'll be Endgame. Literally. But come back to what's happening right here about in Flesh and Comics. Just slanging and banging comic books, bro. This Friday I will be having a live stream podcast on social media, on Facebook, TikTok, on my YouTube channel as well. It's gonna be called Reflection Comics Presents Popping Through Culture. Alongside of me, I'm gonna have Chris, owner of Make It Nerdy. He does 3D prints and cosplay items. Also, I'm gonna have Marvin McDonald. He kind of backed up from the mainstream comic book circuit and created his own comic book line called Swerveverse, Hitman Chronicles of a Hit Squad, and it's popping in my town. He's a cool guy, local comic book artist. His comic books are amazing, and yeah, these guys are gonna be with me this Friday at 7. We're gonna go live and basically talk about why we're where we're at, why I decided to open a comic book shop, how comic books impacted me and influenced me, or just genuinely how we feel about comic book culture, opposed to where it was and to where it's going, and currently where it's at right now. And I hope you guys tune in. Like I said, I'm going to be streaming it on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
Rico, if you would have given me your YouTube channel or whatever, I would have pulled it up. But
YouTube channel is Reflection Comics, man.
Is that what it is?
It is it. Yeah, bro. Like I make it easy, simple for everybody. Reflection Comics. The way it's spelled is the way it sounds.
We gotta do something for your audio, man, for that show, bro. You're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Most definitely. And I promise next time you come on, I'll pull the YouTube channel up and whatnot and everything. And by then you'll have done that show, right? So
yeah, like I said, it's gonna be this Friday at 7:00.
There you go. Now Kendra Sparks, sorry about that, Kendra. I'm just messing with you. Who I haven't read some of your stuff. And obviously oh, look at that. There's your plug right there.
Woohoo!
Whatever the fuck I'm not even sure what happened there. But hold on 1 minute. Sorry about that, Kendra. I was gonna pull your stuff up, but apparently I got hit with some kind of I'm not even sure what the fuck is going on here.
It looked like an ad.
Like some spam shit, yeah. Anyways, whatever. But no, Kendra, basically you are a writer, right? I believe you do some gaming review writing and whatnot and everything, don't you? Besides the stuff you do, like, you know, with Dark Knight News and everything.
I mean, the list of what I don't do in life is a lot shorter.
Oof. Good answer.
No, I am a professional reviewer for Dark Knight News and DC Comics News. Currently working on 3 of the Night Terrors titles that are coming out for the new arc from DC. The current one that's up here is for Satana's version, and her portrayal in the arc and what her role is going to be. I mean, I'm ingrained in comics. Comics are something that I love in almost every medium form, all the way back to JSA. So, I do also enjoy doing gaming reviews, but I haven't done those for a while. But honestly, this is what I do. I do that, and then I write horror as a lady of horror for a group that does photo flash prompts every month. So honestly, Twitter is probably the easiest way to find me if you're wanting to talk to me, or Facebook. I mean, I'm very accessible on Facebook. But that's me to a T. I just like to critique shit.
There you go. Daredevil man without fear, baby. Gotta love that.
Yes. And
That's
I like
awesome.
artwork. I mean, honestly, that's my favorite part of comics is, or well, honestly, anything written word, because I like anything that has story and depth. And of course, when you compare that with lusciously pretty art, I'm in.
There you go. You know, just like you know, it's good to have 4 hands all in, right? You know, all in when you're at the massage parlor, Kendra. Right?
You keep telling me about these experiences.
never
I mean,
forget.
I'm going to live vicariously through you.
You should. There's already multiple people already doing it anyway, so you can just join the rest of the squad, basically. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame them, to tell you the truth. I probably would too. But no, I was gonna do my plugs, but unfortunately, the website for the trailer park that I hang out in and whatnot sometimes on the weekends with my crackhead, you know, like conspiracy theorist friends or whatever, whatnot, wasn't working or whatever, you know. So, no, I'm just kidding. No, basically, eventually down the road, I'll have some interesting plugs to pull up and whatnot, in terms of some different platforms that we're going to be putting our content on and whatnot. But I'm going to save that for later on, and just thank the panel and thank Cyberneticshark, and he'll be moderating the finale next Wednesday, which is, I believe, what, the 25th, I think, or the 24th. I can't remember. Either way, 26th. Okay, the 26th. We have 7 on Friday. This Friday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 6:35 p.m. Pacific. We have the movie 7. And then Sunday, I'm gonna redo, because I had fucking some serious weak sauce like Wi-Fi up in Ocala last weekend. I'm gonna redo my Andor part 1 of my part 3 Andor, you know, kind of season 1 recap breakdown, because shit was not too good. It was kind of a shit show last Sunday, unfortunately. And me and Mr. Pop Culture Guy up there in the right or left hand corner, depending on like how you're viewing him, are going to be tackling the finale of the Walking Dead Dead City. You know, we'll be reviewing that on Monday. That's Monday, I guess. Next Monday. So that should be interesting, Andre. So I'm looking forward to that. That's somewhat exciting. Is it interesting?
I'm more excited.
Episode 5 of Dead City sucked too. Worse,
I'll watch.
Much
I'll
worse
watch,
than Secret Invasion, though.
Yeah, I'll watch episode 5 of Walking Dead Dead City over this episode. No,
Really? Oh man. All right, if you say so. Anyways, folks, we love all of you. We love the MCU fandom. We love the DCU fandom. We love all the fandoms and whatnot, everything, right? I love the Bandmade fandom. I would show off my bass guitar and everything and whatnot, but like I'm gonna keep that personal and whatnot and all that. Although I am like looking at it right now and everything, and it is like giving me goosebumps and shit. Just wait until I put out my first video of me trying to play it and shit and whatnot. It'll be really funny, I guarantee it. I'm sure you guys will like it. I'm sure I'll be really good, very talented, right, Cyber? I'll be hell of a bass player.
Sure.
Anyways, thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Andres. Jesse, thanks for coming on, brother. It's good to see you again, man. Rico, appreciate you, brother. Hopefully I'll see you in person soon. It's nice to be able to have somebody that's on the show so close to me. And Cyberneticshark, my friend. I will be recording with you on Friday, motherfucker. Andres, are you coming on for 17 minutes on Friday?
No, the whole 2 hours of 7.
Oh, okay. I just was wondering. All right. We'll see you later, folks. Have a good evening. Take care. Be optimistic. The finale will be better than fucking episode 5, I promise. And so does fucking Chi.
The hoes are laughing?
Yep.
So the audience are a bunch of hoes?
Yep. Catch me outside. How about that?
Huh?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Catch you outside? What does that mean?
Hey. I said, excuse me, you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, across the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch.